Here we go. Episode 19 of the Foyne Jones Show is season 5. We're getting back to business, and I've been waiting for this episode for so long. We have got the man himself, Charlie, the producer of this season. He's made a massive difference to the podcast. He's got us bigger on iTunes, bigger on Spotify, into the world of YouTube. But we've got him from behind the camera and out of the production room. He's sitting opposite me in the studio today. Charlie, welcome to a show you know very
Hello,
well,
mate.
the Foyne Jones Show.
We're just saying this feels a little bit
surreal
weird
for you.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I'm in some sort of weird parallel universe.
It's a bit surreal for him. For the benefits of the listeners, I didn't want him to feel left out. So he got the video introduction. He got the parking instructions. He got the arrival time of when to meet us. And we've also got a special guest in the studio today. Holly Louise Spring from the Foyne Jones Recruitment Group. It's not your Foyne Jones Show debut, but it's the first time you've been back on the podcast for a fair few years, isn't it?
The last time I came on your podcast, I had my, I think, 4 or 5 week old son in the corner asleep.
Albie was there, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, that's how we've advanced. That was it. That was in one of our meeting rooms in our old offices when we recorded it in the office. Now we're in the best recording studio in Brighton, and we've got one of the most talented young magicians. Magicians?
I'll take it. Honestly, I will take it.
Do you know what I'm saying, magicians?
Cannot reveal my secret.
James Wood's podcast is out today, isn't it? And he's a magician. So don't edit it out, Charlie. You make the magic happen. For me, you're a magician. Did I dig that out? Did I get out there?
Yeah, you're right.
I got out, all right. One of the most talented musicians, musicians in Brighton, Charlie Hula. We're going to tell your story, mate, aren't we?
Thank you, mate. Yes, I'm very excited.
If I can stop
I'm very
laughing and
excited
get the
to
words
be here
out.
on this side. It
I think
feels
Holly
crazy,
makes me
but it's good.
nervous. She keeps saying no.
What?
You say no a lot. You make me nervous.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So, Holly Louise Spring's in the studio. Charlie's in the studio. We're going to make this episode fun because we're coming to the business end and the end of the season. Charlie, you made a massive difference to this podcast. You made a massive difference to Change Digital. What I want to do is pick you up as a person and bring you to life. So, the floor is yours. We're going to start the first few minutes of the podcast just by letting you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, mate.
Right. Okay. So, I think the best way to describe myself is as a musician and a songwriter.
Sure you don't do
primarily.
magic? Do you do magic?
I only on the guitar. But
oh, that was a good one. Only on the guitar. Go on.
A lot, I guess, trying to think about where I started out with music, it was always just like around 10 years old I started playing guitar, and then from that point onwards it was just like, it was always just an answer. It was never really a question from that point. It was just, I'll just carry on doing music. And at every point where I had to make some decision about what to do with my life, like choices about subjects at school and university, everything, it was always just, well, I like music. I'm getting not shit at it as every year goes by, and now I definitely feel like I'm not crap anymore.
It's a small percentages, mate, isn't it?
Yeah,
small percentages.
Yeah,
you've got a music scholar sitting to your side. You specifically told me not to mention it, so I thought I would. So I'm surrounded by talented people, and I'm just going to make this up as I go along, Charlie. But where's that journey took you through music? So it took you to uni, didn't it? It took you stateside, mate. That's something you enjoyed.
That's probably been a career highlight so far. Whilst I was studying at uni, I knew going in that I wanted to do a year away in America, and the University of Huddersfield, which I honestly never even heard of Huddersfield before I found this particular course.
We've got a lot of listeners and viewers in
West
Huddersfield,
Yorkshire, really.
So there you go, mate.
Up
So good people of Huddersfield town. Go on a town.
Yeah. I mean, it was a dream. It was a really great time at uni. It was a good time to learn a lot that I wanted to about music and being creative, and it was good fun in a lot of the more traditional student ways as well. But I did get that placement year. I ended up organising an internship with a production house in Los Angeles by the name of Ring the Alarm, and they were so good to me for the year that I worked with them. I learned so much about music itself, about the business, and about life. It was a very difficult year in some ways, but it was massively, massively pivotal for where I am now.
How does that even happen? How does a kid from Brighton who's at uni in Huddersfield end up in LA and the music scene?
3 steps. First of all, set the goal, set the objective.
Boom.
Second of all, sheer determination. Third of all, most importantly, luck. A lot of luck.
Well, you make your own luck. So those
Yeah.
those two other points, mate. That's a message we could send out to any next generation within any industry and with any because that's actually really special.
Yeah.
But what were your takeaways from that year in LA? What were the highlights for you?
Stay humble. Definitely stay humble and work hard, because I think the best thing that I did out of everything that year, I had access to this amazing studio, which I spent a lot of time working out of, which the company was based out of, and it was the walls were lined with amazing guitars and vintage synthesizers and stuff, and all of the recording gear you could ever need. And when business was done at the end of the day, it was like, you're welcome to hang as much as you want and work on your own stuff. And so from 5 p.m. onwards, if I wasn't playing football that night, then
soccer.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
But the new kind of part of my day would start, where I would just like write music. In that year, and this is one of the best things I've done with my time to date, I wrote 100 songs, which was so good because apparently a mentor told me when I was growing up, it's what Lennon and McCartney did from the Beatles, because if you just do it that much, then you eventually get not shit at it. You eventually start to get good at it, and it's just it's a 10,000 hours thing, and it's a lot of work, and eventually you start to see some good stuff coming through from it.
I mean, that's a shift.
Exactly.
You've got to mean it. But when we were recording with The Magician...
Yes.
Yeah, when we were recording with The Magician last week, he spoke about your influences, and you were straight through the front door, Beatles.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Was that your parents?
Yeah, my dad
hearing
loves the
up?
Beatles. A lot of Beatles growing up. But then I was very lucky to have a great, at first, guitar teacher, and then over time, really mentor, especially when I started singing and songwriting as well. A guy who lives in Patcham named Mark, who's loveliest bloke in the world.
Hello, Mark.
You're right, Mark.
Another new listener, Holly. We grab them wherever we can.
He grew up on the Beatles. Like, he's of everyone I know, he's the biggest Beatle head without a doubt. But he went in the 70s when the band had split up. He went to see McCartney play at the Brighton Dome, or the Brighton Centre actually. And he waited around after the show because I have to meet him, I have to get his autograph. And he's waiting around for Macca to show up and come out from backstage. And the band, he's waiting so long, the band are starting to load, the roadies are starting to load all the equipment into the vans. And so he's like, guys, do you want a hand? Do you want me to help you move stuff? And so he starts lugging all this equipment into these vans. And then eventually Paul comes out and says, oh, so we've got a new one in today, have we? And he's like, yeah, I'll be your roadie. And so he ended up going out on the road for a few years with Paul and the rest of the band, which is like...
Wow.
As an amazing story, an amazing experience. But when I see interviews of McCartney now, I just recognise so much of Mark in it. Like, you can see that he spent that time, watching those shows every night and moving the equipment around. It's just so... I feel like I've learnt from one of the best who spent a lot of time with one of the absolute best.
So with music being such a passion, right, and it comes through in everything you do. I know you love your football. You playing tonight? Because
absolutely.
I still can't make it this week. And I just throw that in there. I'm still not available for selection.
On my life, if we can get Pete into a Thursday kickabout one week, it'll be Christmas.
I can play a bit as well. I've got a bad tooth, mate. I haven't lost any more teeth since last week.
Fair, you will learn with Pete. He talks a great talk, but we've been booked to go paragliding for...
I still haven't done it, and I'm still terrified. Don't tell Elle.
Someone's getting called out, Pete.
Elle will give me grief. If Elle's listening, she will give me grief over this.
He's scared of the heights, but he won't admit it. So he just comes up with these crazy excuses as to why we have to cancel every week. And
I'm like making meetings. I'm busy. I'm busy.
I'm not going. Like, book it, fine. Like, there's no point in me getting excited for it and arranging.
Yeah, but Charlie didn't give me the GoPro. That was the last one I used.
That's
you didn't give me the GoPro.
I want to know, what is the most ridiculous excuse that you've heard for not doing the paragliding?
Oh, I don't know. What is it? So let's go through them. To be fair,
There's not that many.
It's been spun around.
Thanks for coming, Holly. There's a door.
The first time it was because you...
Didn't you
Jack
break your
booked a date.
ankle?
No, that was the second time. The first time was, and that's a valid reason. The first time was Jack booked a date and you said you were busy, and I think it was because you were possibly doing something with Jane.
Possibly, my wife.
Your wife, yeah. So you and your wife
I'll
had
allow
plans.
that. I will
fine.
let you off on that.
So we cancelled that date. Then we were booked, and to be fair, I did break my ankle. So
It
tough
was more of a
one.
little sprain, wasn't it?
Quite tough. Big sprain, that one.
Okay.
Big one. So that was the reason we couldn't go to that one. Fine, get that. Then it was Christmas, and then someone had COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like someone might have had
Guys,
COVID.
the sun's in the sky, the weather's
The
it's
thing
all
is as
coming
well,
together.
Charlie, like
You've
Sussex
gotta do it.
Paragliding, hello, we love you. Like, you've had lots of our money, so we're the best. We're like the gym membership. We are the full-paying 5-star gym member that never goes. We haven't even done our induction. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You got to do it, man.
but it's 5-10 minutes from our office, so I have no excuse. So I'm going to do it in May.
Are you? Should we
Yes.
nail down the date now?
Well, I can't do that,
To all the
because I'm not allowed
listeners.
to have my phone on. Charlie tells me off. But we will do it in May. Charlie will lend me a GoPro. We'll capture it and we'll make it happen.
It's
because
recorded now.
That was
You
brutal.
wanna
That
wanna
was
stick
brutal.
on that?
How did we get from Charlie's music career to me not wanting to go paragliding?
I don't know.
We take a nice tangent.
That was unbelievable. Holly, who was your musical influences?
Great question.
No, actually. My mum always listened to a lot of Kate Bush around the house. We had a lot of Kate Bush on. And my dad had a lot of Queen on.
Yeah?
Quite the
Both
combo.
great. Both great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Babushka and Don't Stop Me Now. You can
Yeah.
mix that in, Charlie.
Yeah.
On our ones and twos. Okay, right. So,
good mix.
Charlie, let's go. Let's take the listeners back to when we first met. Right. So, I was in this
In this
studio.
very
We were
room.
doing some work
Yeah.
with 2020 software, and we were doing a global broadcast. And Brandon was here, and it's fair to say, Charlie, it couldn't have gone any worse.
Look, we were definitely in a trick. We made the best of a difficult situation. That's for sure.
Let me rephrase that. The start could not have gone any worse. This poor fella just thought he was opening the door, really, and we're like, where are you going? Like, there was a communication.
There's this whole,
problem.
like, yeah,
There
there's
was
a communication error. There's this whole setup that needs going
he had
through.
about 17 minutes to get everything kitted up and operational before we went like live to America, live to live everywhere.
Yeah.
Boy, nailed it.
I've not moved that quickly in a long time.
He nailed it, and from that moment, I thought, do you know what? He done that with a smile on his face. Potentially, if
I remember you saying, "This is the boy I need around me,"
Yeah.
because he kept calm, and then I wasn't panicking because everything was calm.
But
Yeah.
that was the beginning. So it was a pleasure to invite you to be part of this season of the podcast, and it's just gone on and on, right? It's gone on and on. What that's also led to, and this is something I'm really, really proud of, because as well as music, you've got other videography and production and work you're doing, AV work you're doing. You've become involved with Jones Digital, you know, and you're working with us as head of media and production, and that's led to some amazing projects, hasn't it? It's been really exciting for us.
It's been a really great start to the year,
So
for sure.
me, it just shows people that you could turn something which wasn't going that well into something positive. You build relationships, and for me, I've been seeing this a lot on LinkedIn and other socials this week. Is that if you surround yourself with people who are more talented than you've got half a chance of being successful. Well, there's two people on that side of the studio who are both exceptionally more talented than me. I mean, Holly, what do I actually do?
Talk.
It's a question that's asked a lot. What do I actually do?
You do a lot of talking.
I
do a
think
lot
you
of
make the
talking.
world go round. To be fair, like you keep everything. You keep everything happening.
At the moment, I'm driving around a lot of builders merchants giving out Fulham shirts, which is quite a great job. You know, that's quite surreal.
Yeah.
But great talent to have on board. Looking forward to future projects with Jones Digital.
Yep.
What else are you up to, Charlie? Kind of in the bigger picture.
The main things in my mind at the moment that I'm thinking about, my company that I run, Hula & Co Music, which is my kind of shop front for all the work that I do as a freelance producer, but also the record label and the home for the studio space that we have in Hanover. Everything's kind of all under that one
That's
umbrella.
Hanover Brighton, not
That's
Hanover Germany.
Brighton,
Do you want to establish that?
We're 1 year old
When he first told
officially
me, I said,
tomorrow.
why is it in Germany?
Yeah, no, we're just 20 minutes down the road there near the centre of Brighton.
Near the
but
level, weren't you?
That's right, just up the hill from the level.
Where all the cool kids hang out.
And we moved, we're officially 1 year old tomorrow.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy year, and I feel I'm trying now to be a little bit more present and to realise just how much we've achieved, but also, keep the drive, keep the way forward for everything that's to come in the next year and beyond. I'm pretty excited about all of that. And I suppose perfectly kind of following on from that, another massive milestone for us is that we will, in 2 weeks' time, be on our first ever UK tour, which I think you have to say that it's a life dream come true. Like something I've wanted to do my whole life, and we've finally
Will you be
got it
playing
there.
the Foy and Jones show intro music to start the gigs? Do you know what I mean? Would that be?
We'll do our own. We'll do our own.
I could just roll out, do a bit of MCing. I'll be doing a bit of So Solid Crew. 2 multiplied by 10 plus 1 Romeo done. No. But you two weren't born then.
And the Acid House.
I bet you were born then before. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm showing my age. But we are going to come on to the Charlie Hula tour in the second half of the podcast. I think from my perspective, this is a great opportunity just to say to people what a pleasure it's been to work with you. Like genuinely, that's shared by everyone in Foy and Jones, everyone in Jones Digital. Emily in our PR company, she's here next week. She loves everything you put together. You haven't just taken the podcast up lots of levels, which you have. The whole experience from start to finish is better. It's more fun. It's engaging. We're having amazing guests travelling the length and breadth of the country. From Doncaster, from Milton Keynes, from Northampton, from Oxford, from Essex to be part of the show. We get the odd local ones in as well, which makes it fun. But that to me is what this series was about. And we have got back to business. I think what we've learned is that the best podcast experience is when it's fun. Because people want to listen to a fun conversation. They don't want to listen to scripts. But the editing and production you've done has been best in class, and we're gonna pay that back and pay it forward by talking a lot more about your tour. Talking football, because I think we need to talk about Fulham, we need to talk about Arsenal, we need to talk about our local team. Lewis, Holly, you can leave at that stage and maybe come back in a little while if you want. And we bring Holly Louise Spring into the show, and we just find out what's going on with her in the world of Foy and Jones. But great episode. You enjoyed it, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm in a good way. Thank you, mate. I have to say, it's been a fantastic
I'll be honest, if I jogged
year.
on, you two could probably just do the show without me, to be fair. Give Lara a bell, she'll come in and co-host. It's your job done. I'm away. But and the artwork, all courtesy Holly. It's almost survived the season.
Nearly.
It's almost survived. And that, Charlie,
to go,
just to confirm, is magenta, not pink. We'll see you in the second half of the show.
Happy days.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready? The digital revolution is no longer a spectator sport. It's game on. The magical art of storytelling is the future. Social, content, branding, podcasts, video marketing, and virtual 360 tours. This is Jones Digital.
All right, so you two finished reminiscing about your dad's cousins and everyone that works here. I mean, good job you've not been here before. We'll never get you back, Holly. Oh yeah, I know him. Oh yeah, I know her. I know him. She's getting texts from people like, "We've seen you walk up the stairs. It's my show. This should be about me." Okay, so welcome back to episode 19 of the Foy and Jones show. This is with Charlie Hula, as well as being the brightest up and coming musician. Not magician, all right? Musician.
Mate, I'm not complaining
Oh,
yet.
mate,
I will take both. I've got no problem with it.
Expelliarmus, mate. Okay, so, bit of Harry Potter for you, Holly. Big fan of Harry Potter. Okay, so we are offering some amazing services at Jones Digital. It involves videography. It involves some fantastic cooking demos. We did a brilliant gig with a friend of the Foy and Jones show. He was a great guest, Nathan McLean.
Yeah.
How good was the virtual world stand at KBP?
It was amazing,
Charlie?
man. I have to say, in our prep to the lead up
Hello,
to shooting
Nathan.
the video, here he
Hello,
is. You're right,
Marie.
mate.
Hello, Laura. They are proper fans.
They're great. Yeah, they'll be there.
Yeah.
But I was so impressed with all of the plans and everything they put together. But then the stand itself, when I got there, it's absolutely unbelievable. Like
naturally, I was arriving a little bit late because it was we were out, weren't we?
been
We
on
were
the
out
booze the night before.
Why was we out? I don't know.
It was I think it was Jane's
It was
birthday.
my birthday.
Jane's birthday or your
It was
birthday?
Jane's birthday. It's my wife's birthday. Well done, Charlie. Good job you're here. But we was in trendy libation in Hove, and then we got taken to the trendy cocktail. I mean, our two boys took us to the cocktail bar. So I was a little bit late, and he was texting me going, "You want to see the stand? It's absolutely amazing."
Yeah.
But the welcome was good. The people were good. It was a little bit like an Apple store, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
But
it looked the part, but the energy was great. Like I got to say, Nathan's got some great people working with him. Like Lauren and Maria have been an absolute pleasure to work with throughout the course of finishing up the video as well. But like, it was such a nice day, the shoot itself, because everyone was just really happy to be there. It was great,
and it was so welcoming. But that's where just conversation can take you, because Nathan came down. We did a brilliant podcast with Nathan. Secret rock and roll. So it was just mind blowing, the podcast. But I really like the fact you write the music. I really like the way you approach it. Can you come up and get involved with us? And that's what we can offer. In terms of production, we can bring the music into it, we can bring the videography, bring that creativity.
I think as a
we
rule
can
of
offer
thumb,
it so much more, can't we?
Yeah, I think as a rule of thumb, like, I think one of the things that's working really well for us here is that we enjoy what we're doing, and it comes across in the work that you see at the end of the project. Like, we're the kind of people who are going to enjoy what we're going to do. We're going to have a good time at work. We're going to have a good time when we come into the office and get the job done that day. But you can really see it come through the other side as well. And if you are in a fortunate position where you're working with people who are down to trust us and to let us, we'll write some music for you, and they're like, okay, yeah, we trust you with that. We're happy for you to take that and try it out, and we'll see how it goes. 10 times out of 10, it's a fantastic success.
And
it's great.
It has been, and Jones Digital has grown and grown, and I think where we are now, we're on the horizon of taking it much bigger. With your contacts and the people that can support us, it's growing and growing and growing. And I think for anyone that wants to see how Charlie and his team and Jones Digital can help, reach out to me, because actually we can turn your business story, your personal story, into something really special. It might be bringing a showroom to life. It might be bringing an event to life. It might just be a discovery video which tells people who you are and what you do. But it's powerful, and we can make it really special, and we do it with fun and smiles on our faces. So that's what we do at Jones Digital, Holly. What do you reckon?
That's great. Sign me up.
Well, yeah, we will sign you up. We throw that in with the virtual 360 tours with Scott Curry. There's a complete full circle offer, and something which I think will grow and grow. And it's nice just to see the results. And the Virtual Worlds video is going to be out soon. And I know it's finished and signed off.
Yeah, it's all done now.
We've got more projects coming up, and it's going to get better and better, mate. So it's great to be working with you.
It's great. It's been I've been fully working for myself without the support of a day job since just the beginning of the year, since January. We're recording on the 14th of April today, and how much has happened in the last 3 and a bit months has been absolutely crazy. Everything seems to have just gone to the moon with how much work is coming through the door. And
it's been a roller coaster, though, mate, for you. The highs and lows, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's just, learning what it's like running a business.
Yeah, but listen, Holly, we have highs and lows, don't we?
Many.
We have all the time. And it's not all about my mood or whether Fulham win or lose. That plays a small part in it. But at the moment, Jones Digital is going from strength to strength, and Foyne Jones Recruitment Group, Holly, just bringing a little bit of what we do in. It's been a fantastic start to 2022, hasn't it? I'd say we're more than back to business. You're flying at the moment, aren't you?
Had a good year, yeah. Yeah, I'm really positive about everything that's happened this year.
What are the challenges?
The amount of work.
The amount of that's not
the amount of success.
Are we having like a little intervention or like a little
I'm just getting about. I'm getting about for the paragliding, mate. Trust. I'm getting about for the paragliding. But no. To be fair, the team have absolutely smashed it. We've had a brilliant start to 2022. The feedback we're getting as a recruitment business, as people, as a voice in our industry, it's what we're all about, and that's really really where we want to go. So I think if you look at Jones Digital being born from a recruitment company that couldn't do any recruitment in lockdown 1, and then we couldn't do much recruitment in lockdown 2, and lockdown 3 everyone just sulked. That was just a tough old time. We're in a very, very different and very positive place, Charlie Hula, and long may it continue. Let's just come away from all things digital, all things music, and talk about that ball. Let's talk about football, mate.
Highlight of my life.
Highlight
these days,
of your
gotta
life.
say.
You're an Arsenal fan from Brighton because your dad said so. If I get that right.
Yeah. There was no choice there. That's for sure.
Good or bad season? Arteta, yes or no? I used to be able to do. I used to just any Arsenal guest. I used to go Ozil and just be quiet, and then the conversation would go. But now I'm going to go Arteta.
Arteta is a yes for me. I think you've got to. I think he's going to be.
That's the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, Holly.
All right.
And I think he's going to be a brilliant man. I think he's going to be a really, really great manager over the course of his career as a coach. And I think there's been a few things this season where we've hit road bumps, like the very beginning, where we had a shocking start in our first 3 games, and recently, like, we've lost to Palace and Brighton in the last week, which, I mean, you know, I've got a lot of love for Brighton and Hove Albion, but it is in moments like that where you really realise where your love is and where your allegiances lie, unfortunately.
That must have been tough for you, mate, coming to work, just floating about, all the Brighton fans around.
You do just want to be quiet and just get on with your day on days like that. But it is what it is.
Living in Sussex, I always look forward to the Brighton Fulham game at the Amex, because like half of Fulham turns up at my house or turns up in my local, and it's like, and it's a great event. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, and sometimes I don't even know the result because it's just been that type of day. But I think Arsenal are in transition. But there's a chance of Champions League. There's a chance of
we've got to turn it around.
Like
our last few games, we've got to still play West Ham. We've got to play Spurs again, and they're doing a lot better than you would like at this point. I think we've still got to play Chelsea and United again as well. So we've just lost our last 2 games that we should have won.
Go on, mate.
And we've got still like a big run to get through. It's a big challenge, but I do think we've got a good group of young players who should be able to rise to the occasion.
So yesterday, on our tour of builders merchants, giving out Fulham shirts, we were making our way from. This is true. We were making our way. And lockdown diaries, mate. The photos are all going to come out next week. I'll just sign them and make them take a picture, and they're really happy. But. The forklift driver at Kentish Town branch, he was really confused. But you know, but shout out to Lincoln, man. That fella is an absolute legend. To be fair, the way he was bantering with customers was a joy to behold. To be fair, absolutely brilliant. But as we were travelling through North London, I was showing Jack, this is the bottom of White Hart Lane. We're on the A10. If you carry on up this, you're on the Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters Road. There's their new ground. Then we got Finsbury Park, took up Green Lanes. You get a nice haircut, get a nice kebab. Then we moved into Finsbury Park and Arsenal. I was explaining it there. So, from a North London perspective, who, and it took me a long time to get to this point, who is going to get bragging rights? Who's going to finish higher in the league?
It's looking concerningly like they might get it over us at the moment. But again, I think we've got a really good group of young players. I think I do back the manager. I think Arteta's great, and I think if anyone can turn it around and show the resolve that we need at the moment, I think it's the people who are in place. And I mean, it's a hilarious thing with Arsenal and Spurs because they're both absolute bottles. They're both the most unpredictable teams of the world because they could both go on a great run or they could both lose every game before the end of the season. It almost doesn't feel like who's going to be the better team. It feels like who's going to be the worst team. Who's going to give it up? Who's going to?
And we've had Arsenal guests on. We've had several Tottenham guests on. To be fair, this season, and
a lot of Spurs fans.
And I always end up on one place. Let's just talk about Fulham Football Club for a little while. So Holly, who's on fire?
Mitro.
Mitro is on fire. We haven't rehearsed that one.
Mitro is on fire.
I might have bought a little boy a Mitro T-shirt on Sunday just to get that.
There is no stopping you, is there, man?
Oh no, but it's
I'm not a Fulham fan. I just really want to put that out there as well. I don't have a clue about.
You don't like football, really?
No, I wouldn't watch football.
Doesn't know anything about football, but also knows to exclaim that you're not a football fan.
Oh yeah,
Fulham fan.
Don't get me into this.
I mean, you have no choice. It comes through in every conversation I have. But
I gotta say, my love for Fulham has increased astronomically in the last 6 months.
I leave that with everyone.
Right, but now I've got a lot of love for them.
So it didn't quite go to plan last Sunday. We got turned over 3-1 by Coventry, but we are a couple of wins away from a return to the Premier League. I am going up to Derby County away tomorrow. We're staying up in Derby. If results go our way early in the day, we could clinch promotion. If we don't clinch it then, we should clinch it at home to Preston North End. If we don't clinch it then, it'll be away at Bournemouth. So hopefully by the time this episode goes live,
you'll be there.
Fulham will be back in the Premier League.
Here's something I want to ask you.
Go on.
Do you
want
think
tickets?
when you're back up... Yeah,
Okay.
First of all, I'm dying for a trip to the cottage because I've spent the last 6 months hearing so much about it. I'm dying for a trip. We've got to get a date up there sometime. It'll be brilliant.
I wrote it in my book.
Good.
It's in the diary.
It means it's happening.
Yeah. That's like Moses, isn't it? That's like Moses. It's written. It will be done. Bit of history. No.
When you get up, because let's be honest, it's happening at this point. Do you see yourself sticking for longer than one season?
I'm gonna answer that with some stats because I'm quite a stato. Right. When we last won the Championship, or what I still call Division 2, right? But so. One's the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, but when we last got promoted, winning the title was in 2001. John Tagana was our manager. We had an amazing football team. We stayed up for 13 seasons. We became part of the furniture in the Premier League. Since we went down, we have come up twice through the playoffs and spectacularly blown it both times. So that does suggest if you are winning a title, you're in a stronger place as a team rather than winning 3 or 4 games towards the end of the season.
Yeah, okay.
With a good centre-half, with a new midfielder and maybe someone to back Micho up. So we've got that boy playing up front with Benfica would be good if we get him. He looked lively, but he may have a few other options rather than Fulham. If we make the right signings, I think we'll definitely give ourselves more than a chance than we had before.
Good. Okay, sweet.
Marco Silva attacks. Even when we were losing to Coventry, he had a go. He brought more strikers on. He played 3 at the back. He wants to win football matches. I mean, this year we've got the best attack and the best defence in the Championship. We are the top scorers in European football, and we've got the top scorer in Europe playing for us.
Do you see him staying?
Yes, I think he'll stay unless it is a
You've
Real
heard
Madrid.
it here, folks.
Unless it is a Real Madrid, Juventus. He's getting to his late 20s. Unless it is a real life-changing Champions League team, he'll stay. If he leaves, he's on a hell of a contract, so we'll get a lot of money. It will be tough without a goal scorer like that, and I think he's got unfinished business in the Premier League. He didn't do too bad in the Slavisa, Claudio Ranieri, Scott Parker season. I mean, he got 11, 12 goals. Parker season didn't really work out for him, and what sums it up for me is we had 10 games to keep ourselves in the Premier League. We just beat Liverpool. We had 10 games to keep ourselves in the Premier League. We didn't win one of them, and Micho didn't play.
Yeah.
So he's got unfinished business. So I think he might not be as flammable as he is in the Championship. Do you like that, Holly? Do you like that?
Nice, yeah.
That's all right, wasn't it? But I think we'll get goals, and if it all goes our way, within a couple of weeks we'll be celebrating not just automatic promotion, we'll be celebrating the title. I'm going to go to as many of the away games as I can. So that's the next. I'm going all 3 of them as it goes. I'm going to go to Derby, I'm going to go to Bournemouth, and I'm going to go to Sheffield. Hotels are booked, adventures will be had, and I'll be doing it with both Jones boys, mate. So
happy days, mate.
Up the Fulham, we're going back to the Premier League. So that's the end of the football. Holly knows that Mitro's on fire. You think Arsenal may just edge Tottenham out in North London bragging rights, and I'm just looking forward to Fulham not losing. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go back to the main and the most important part of the podcast is you, Charlie. It's what you've got coming up. Would you like to tell our listeners and our viewers on YouTube, our listeners on iTunes and Spotify, all about your tour, mate?
Yes,
all
I
about
would
your
absolutely
tour.
love to.
Over to you.
First, like I say, it's a real dream come true. Our first ever UK tour. 2 weeks today, we will have played our first show, Bristol, the night before. Then we will, at this point, I reckon, be on our way up to Huddersfield, where we've got a show on the Friday night. We're going up on the Thursday. We've got a folk session that we want to get up for and hit the pub and play some tunes on the Thursday. So get ourselves prepped for that gig on the Friday. We've then actually got Saturday through till the Tuesday, no gigs. Our next one will be Wednesday in London. There are plans to make a record with all the equipment that we have on the road with us during that time. Whilst we spent a couple of the shows already, we're all warmed up, and then use that time to really.
When you're in the zone.
Yeah, you're there. You're warmed up. You're right ready for it. So, we'll have all the guys together. Really excited to use that time to make a record, because I think musicians and bands, it's very much like, I liken it to football teams quite a lot, because if you have a group of players who are working, who are gelling together well at a certain point in time under a certain system, under a certain manager, whatever it may be, then you really want to make the most of it. You want to savour and enjoy every moment of it, but you really want to milk it for all of its worth as well, and hope that good run continues. Our rehearsals have started and things are looking great, and I'm just gassed. I'm just dead excited to start now, run all the way through, know that we have that gap in the middle of the tour to kind of take a different angle on it, be creative, think about how we can approach some of the songs that we've been playing under the different lens of the recording studio, and then get back on the road, head down to London where we're playing in Central near Farringdon, back to Brighton for the headline show at the Comedia, which I'm really excited about everything on the tour, but it looks like we're going to sell out in Brighton, and that's going to be, fingers crossed, touch wood, everything goes well.
It's a homecoming gig, mate.
Yeah, it's huge. It feels
we're
like
down,
it's
we're down to 10 tickets, but if you're selling out, we might have to buy them.
Yeah, you might.
Holly, right, note that down. You know,
Okay.
10 tickets.
I'll send you the ticket link.
Yeah, I've got the link. I've told everyone we're getting 10 tickets. So, and I'm in danger of going to Charlie's gig.
Yeah, I hope.
I mean, there's no heights involved unless I do a stage jump. Can I do that? Can I? No, okay.
Proud Seth. Charlie, I have a question about your. You keep saying we, but I thought it was just you going on tour. But are you saying we because you're a band, or are you saying we because you're you and a little team?
It is I and a little team.
How big's the team?
There's 5 of us going out on the road.
Oh, that's a squad.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Are you all
there's
pals?
actually
Do you all just know each
yeah.
other?
I hate
Well,
each other.
Did you all go to uni together? Like, how do you know?
Everyone.
Did you audition them?
Everyone has kind of been.
Oh, can I do the auditions?
What
I mean,
for,
this side. No,
for
not
Hype
that.
Man.
I'll be the judge.
Okay.
Like the X
What, like
Factor?
with the big red button and everything?
I'll be
No,
really,
in fact, we cannot
I'd be
give you a
I'd be
big red
really-
button.
I'd
It'd
be
be chaos.
really
It'd be
kind.
absolute
I'd be really
haywire.
kind, Charlie.
I hope so.
I would be.
I don't like it. I love it.
I can see
Who's
it all
driving the
now.
van?
We're going to take 2. I'm going to drive mine, and
You fixed yours?
yeah, it's
Oh,
working
well
again
done,
now.
mate. That's
It's back in. It's back on the road again.
My van's bust.
My van's back. Oh my god, it was a painful time without it. But the van's back. We've got one
I love
line
a
to
bit of
load all the
driving. I could
equipment
do
in.
that role, Holly. I could be the driver.
Do you want to be the roadie? You can be like Mark, who was working for McCartney.
We better-
You can come out for me.
I'd have to check in with the boss, but if she probably won't mind as it goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's actually 4 of us who are playing in the band together.
Let's say hello. Who's the band?
The band is starting with Ben White on drums, starting then with Rhys Oliver on guitar and bass, Chris Ward on bass, guitar and keys, and then myself playing as well. Our extra, you'll notice there's one person missing. Ben Woodhouse basically makes my world go around. He helps me run everything that I do in my business. I would say he's the Holly of Hula & Co music.
Everyone needs that person.
Everyone needs a Holly. Everyone needs a
That's
Ben.
becoming more and more obvious, you know, because like we had that when Ian Church and Hannah were here, didn't we, on the Battles podcast, and it was very obvious that for Ian to do what he does, that support and that expertise needs to be
I
there.
think there's a lot to be said for it, you know, and it's something I've actually realised a lot as I've been growing on this journey in the last 6 months, and from working with yourself as well. You've got the surround yourself with good people thing. It's crucial. I know
Without
we
a
say
doubt.
it every week on the show, but
Without a
if
doubt,
you
mate.
cannot do that, then your chances of growing and of doing anything more than your limits of just the one person that you are, it's just a dead dream. It's just not going to happen.
Big time, mate. And one thing as well, when you're in a start-up or something new and you're looking out there's a lot of wrong uns out there, man. So it's treating people the right way, you know. And that's one of the things I'm big on is that, you know, when you find the right partners, the right people to work with you, support you, to join you, be part of what you're doing, treat them how you want to be treated yourself.
Yeah,
do the right
agreed.
thing. I mean, I talk about that a lot, and that's going back to just recruitment practices. Sorry, I'm bringing recruitment in because, honey, you may have forgotten this, but I do own the recruitment business. I've owned it since 2003. She reminds me of
I
this,
write it
Charlie.
almost daily.
Yeah, because I want to talk about football. I want to talk about video stuff with Charlie. And she's like, We've got recruitment. We've got
some
recruitment
work to do here as well.
But that's what's amazing is that you can tell your story. You can bring what we do in recruitment. Doing the right thing is really important. So it's as transparent as giving someone feedback on an interview when you say you're going to, and as much as yourself. If you're working with someone, they should be paying you on time. They should be treating you with respect, and that's a tough journey to go on.
Yeah.
And you'll learn very quickly from that the people to be with and the people not to be with. So we've got the famous 5 going on tour.
Yep, it's going to be great.
You need a driver, so I may well be volunteering. I mean, I'd want to go a big disco bus. I want to go a big disco bus, all in. You know, I'll picture you not picture me. It's not my tour, not my show. Got to remember that. So it'd have to be a picture
of me slapped on the side of the thing.
on the side. Off we go. You know, that's what I'm seeing. Maybe not this time.
I might have to nick
the next time around. So if I was maybe one of the listeners, one of the viewers, how am I going to get me tickets to one of these gigs?
Come to any of my social media profiles or go to my website, which is charliehula.com, and click the link to live or to tour, whichever you see first, and there'll be a link which will take you to all 4 of the dates that we've got lined up.
I have another question, Charlie.
Hit me again.
Is it all your own music, or are you doing some nice covers?
That's a really good question. We've got, which I will not reveal, 3 covers, which in my opinion, are by 3 of the
I was going to ask
best
you what
musicians.
your best one was, but I can't ask you because you just said you're not going to reveal it.
Off air.
All right, you can tell me.
I can tell you that.
I felt like a real radio host then. Off air, we'll do it off air.
I can tell you that maybe not as a massive surprise. One of them will be something by the Beatles. What I will not tell you is just what we're doing because we're cooking up something magnificent.
Beatles was my first dance at the.
Do Penny Lane.
Really? Which one?
Do Penny Lane. It's my favourite.
Penny Lane's quite good. It's not Penny Lane.
Okay. Well, we could just keep going. I mean, it'll take a while, but we get there. What was your first dance, Holly?
Yeah.
Here Comes the Sun.
Good choice.
Educated choice, that is, isn't it? That's a music scholar's choice.
Yeah.
Did Tommy have any view in that, or was it like that's what we're having?
We agreed. I put a little shortlist together, admittedly.
Oh,
and then he picked the shortlist.
See, that's how it rolls. It's not just in business, Charlie. It's away. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. All right, so that's how to get tickets for Charlie. We are going to have 10 tickets for the homecoming gig. You're going to come to Craven Cottage next year for a game with us. So we'll definitely do that, mate. We'll give you a Fulham Football Club experience. Hopefully, it'll be not as painful as our recent returns to the Premier League. And again, you know, we are loving everything we're doing with this man and with Jones Digital. So this is a message. If you want some advice on producing your own podcast, hosting your own podcast, if you want to bring video into your content, into what you're doing, or you want to take a little snapshot of who you are and put it out there into the big wide world, we can help you at Jones Digital, thanks to Charlie and his brilliant team. So, Charlie, that's going to sadly bring us very much towards the end of this episode. I know.
I'll be back behind the camera again.
Yeah, I mean,
to see the light of day.
Emily's down next week, mate. So, I mean, I will not get a word in next week. You've met Emily.
That would be great,
I will not get a word in next week. So next week we've got Emily from Publicity Engineers joining us. But before we finish the show, Charlie, is there anything you want to say as a closing message? And it can be music related, it can be football related, it can be digital related, it could be podcast related, it could be spiritual. It's up to you, mate. But just want to give you the chance to close out your very own episode.
Okay, so definitely make sure to catch me on any of your social media platforms of choice. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're doing a lot of content on YouTube. Whatever you like, whatever you fancy, we're there. Come through, make sure that you stay up to date with all of our plans for the tour and for the record that we are releasing alongside of it. Very excited to also tell you guys exclusively that I received the final mix for the next single, for the second single from our new record last night. It sounds amazing, so pleased with it, and will be coming to all the streaming services like Spotify and beyond very soon. So stay in touch, join us on the journey, and let's see where we go. I feel pretty optimistic about everything at the moment, and we're working very hard. I think, you know, you do, as you said earlier, you do need luck, but you do make your own luck.
Luck comes if you work hard. If you work hard, you work smart. Good things happen. Richard Branson calls it smart luck. I think it's.
I'm hoping we'll get some of that.
It's the same on a football pitch, mate. If you put it in and you do the right things continually, and you give it some, you're gonna win more than you lose.
Yeah.
But I think from a podcast perspective, today's been really special, just to get you this side of the conversation and bring everything that people won't know. I often talk to you and bring in some of the conversations. You laughed in a way, you're chipping in sometimes, but now people know about the music journey. They know about the time in LA. They can get your record, they can see you on tour, and more importantly, on a Jones Digital perspective, they can work with us on their future projects. So it's a brilliant episode. Thank you so much for listening. Holly Louise Spring, you've got recruitment to do when we get back to the office. But I mean, you'll probably be hanging out with your friends and family and down here for a little while before we get back. So it's been a really good. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening. That, Charlie Hula, was episode 19 of the Foy and Jones Show. We're getting back to business. We're telling the musical story, and thoughts and prayers. We're still standing with the people of Ukraine. Let's hope and pray there is a solution to that anytime soon. Thanks for listening. That was episode 19 with Charlie Hula.